Hi everyone, hello and welcome back to our newest vlog. Today we're here with Jake, aka S1CKO. Hi Jake.
How you going, mate?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Okay, what do we have today?
We've got a gold Honda here. We did it for the 50th year anniversary for Honda. And yeah, we're going to strip this off and have some fun and strip it literally everything off the car.
Everything.
So that should be fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Okay, as I know, this car was wrapped almost 2 years ago, and chrome wrap is, of course, it's not easy to do, and it's very sad to remove it because it's a very expensive thing.
Yeah, it is very expensive.
And we'll see how it's easy to remove a chrome wrap from this Honda. And as I know, Matt mentioned that it's every Denison chrome with 3M luster laminate.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that was just easier. It's a little bit easier to apply, and obviously this stuff
and it's not that shiny how normal chrome looks.
No, that's right. It's a bit dull and it looks nice. It doesn't look, cheap. It looks, really, nice. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's start with first panel.
Cheers.
Your go. You want to do it?
Yeah.
First panel?
You can go see it.
I know, it's your turn.
What do you reckon, the mirror first?
Yeah, just something small.
Yeah, I'll just move.
It's honor, like it's dark.
Man, that comes off good, eh?
Paint, at least it can blame you.
Comes off good, eh?
It's easy. Guys, if you need chrome wrap, just go to Vinyl Wraps and Graphics.
That's it, look at that.
2 years later, it's still like new.
Like brand new. Yeah. Stick it back on. That's really nice.
I will use this just heater, standard heater from Bunnings. What, 90 bucks for it? And it does the job. Because now we're in Melbourne where it's really freezing. And like what is like 11 degrees today. That's why we need to use some heat. Because for vinyl removal you can use any source of heat. It can be steamer, it can be air light, it can be heat gun, it can be torch. And it's just heat. Yeah, you can feel like. If I will be a very famous YouTuber, I can sell this piece of film probably for 200 bucks. Guys, enough playing with stickers and let's talk about real deal. If you don't know S1CKO, he has a special power to destroy any car tires in less than 1 minute. And he's the winner of Burnout Masters 2019 Summernats.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so Jake, let's talk about burnouts, power skids, and Australian car scene.
Yeah, no, it all started off back in the day when my old man, he competed at Summernats, that was Street Machine Nationals up in Wagga, and then that moved up to Summernats in Canberra. And yeah, it all started from when he was young. He was 17 and he bought the Mustang that now I have taken over with. And yeah, it's just in my blood. I've travelled to Australia doing burnout competitions, and yeah, and my parents actually run their own car show, so Summernats, and yeah, I'm just used to it, and the car scene's pretty big in Australia, and yeah, we just love cars, performance cars, and yeah.
As you know, I'm not from Australia, and when I came to Australia 7 years ago, for me this was a new thing, burnouts and skids, like not like burnouts, everyone knows burnouts, you can spin the tires, but when I saw like Australian skid, like power skid, for me like mind blowing, what the heck these guys are doing, they're just like going in a straight line with a super powerful engine, it's like, I don't even know, how does it work?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of different, would you say, competitions. There's like your burnout contest, then you got power skids. That's more like you get off the brake and you see how long you can do a burnout and the most smoke without obviously running out of power almost, and then you just lose your smoke and then your power. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like some of the different contests we have here, we have like go to woe, where it's like fastest car to stop on the line. We have like grass one, like spear the spud. You have to like spear a spud out the window. Yeah, pretty different competitions and that. But the burnouts is very big in Australia. So they call us bogans, but we're just used, like we just love it. It's like another pretty lifestyle for us, as well as work. And yeah, no, it's good fun.
What's the longest power skid you have ever done?
The longest power skid I've ever done would have to be in Darwin, Northern Territory, at my parents' show Summernats. It was my first time actually I ever had done a power skid. It was over 300 meters. My dad has done over 450 meters, and that's 1320, like US, like they say 1320, the drag strip, so the whole thing. Yeah, so he went literally from the staging lights, then past the big boards that display the numbers when you do a drag strip pass. But yeah, we're not sure how fast he was going by the end, but it was very, very fast. But mine, yeah, it was 300, but my steering and that setup in the Mustang it's a little bit funny, like a bit twitchy, and like once it starts you can't really catch it, especially going at high speed. But my dad's car, he's set up a little bit different with a bit better. It just sits straight, like you just pretty much just power it and then go as far as you can.
Have you ever blown an engine?
I've actually never blown an engine, like exploded an engine up, because my dad, Gary, he actually builds my engines. He's been building them since he was 17. He did his apprenticeship as an engine builder, a mechanic by trade. He actually, so he's been building them since he was 17. He's 50 something now, so he knows what's the best parts and what to do and what not to do. He's blown a few engines in his lifetime, but now I'm lucky that I've got him to be a good mentor to have a good engine that lasts and we can really rev it high, and it proves itself in the competitions because we do very well. So yeah, I haven't actually blown an engine. I'm very lucky.
Okay. Please explain me, because I have seen this burnout show, and some cars engine will go on the fire, flame. Yeah. What's going on? Actually, engine is not blown. It's kind of.
It all depends. It can say, I can go out and a fuel line can burst, and then the fuel will go into the exhaust, and then it will just ignite, and that can just be the engine on fire, or the engine can have a partner failure, and it can throw a piston out the engine, and because it's all so hot and oil and all kind of fuels and stuff, it all just ignites in the fire. So it's a lot of things. So when you see fire coming out the engine bay, you're like, oh, it could be anything. So I've had a fuel leak once before and a flame come out, and I was like, oh, that's not good. So I just switched the car off, and it was only a fuel leak, which was very lucky. So
it's like only a fuel, there's like engine is under the fire.
It could be worse. Could be worse.
Only one hose, and we will replace it.
That's it.
Okay, it's true, because for me, spectator who don't know much about these shows, when I see engine under the flame, it's like,
You're like,
what
wow.
the heck, that's it, you need to replace engine.
Nah, not always, but most of the time, yeah, a lot of competitors' cars do blow up.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So how did you start wrapping?
It was when I was 17. I met Matt, and then we were doing some stripes on my dad's GT Mustang, and we put some carbon stripes on that. And I met Matt, and then he offered me apprenticeship down here. So I moved down from New South Wales to do my apprenticeship, and yeah, it's been about 6 years here. So yeah, no, it's been good.
What was your first car you have wrapped?
It was actually my '66 Mustang, which used to be my dad's, you know, a very long time ago. But then he retired it onto me. Then we wrapped it in my own design, which we kept the flames, which originally had flames. Then we did the flames with just graphic design behind it. That had to be one of the first cars I ever wrapped. But, then I pretty much wrapped that twice now. It's a fiery orange 3M 1080, and then it was a gloss anthracite 3M. So yeah, that's the color it is now, and yeah, see what comes in the future. We may wrap it again, but it's cheaper than paint. So, but
What's your biggest achievement in your career?
the biggest achievement would have to be me winning the Burnout Masters at Summernats 2019. That was a dream come true. So my father had won in 2012. He had won 7 burnout championships at Summernats over the period that he had always been to Summernats. And then he won the Mobile One Burnout Championship of the world in 2000. They had the Mobile One Burnout. He pretty much was named the Burnout King of the world. So that was when like he got a massive following, and everyone knew him as Gary Myers, and they started calling him by last name, Gary Myers. So, you know, they say Michael started calling Michael Jordan. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely the biggest achievement. You know, I was very proud. Like my parents were pretty emotional, and especially my partner. But yeah, like I've won a fair few in Australia. Burnout Outlaws, Summernats, yeah, a few big name competitions.
Because I saw on your Facebook page, you have a huge Facebook following. You need to check. And on that page I saw you won $10,000 check. I saw this huge check, picture with the check.
Yeah, no, we won that one actually back in January this year, before all the COVID-19 and stuff appeared. But it was good. Yeah, we went all the way to Perth. Me and my father, we drove to Perth. It's 2-day drive from here. We went over and picked up the Camaro for Matt, and we thought we'll throw on the Mustang, and because we've got a 2-car transporter, we can put 2 cars on there. So yeah, we drove over and ended up taking it home. It was a bit of a shock, like especially at the start of the year.
Trip was paid.
Yeah, that's it. So it was worth the trip, and yeah, we come home with the $10,000 check. So it was a big one.
Cool. Congrats on that.
No, cheers.
As we know, you have 1,000 horsepower 1966 Ford Mustang. How long it takes to build a car like this?
Well, actually, it's used to be my old man's car. He's in his 50s now, and that was his first car he ever bought. On, can't even remember, it was on like the old yellow pages here in Australia. They used to go through, and there's no internet back then, well, maybe, but yeah, he used to go through the books and have a look at old cars, and yeah, you come across a 66 Mustang, and he was 17, and he saved up his money and bought that. And then he slowly did it up over a few years, and then he entered his first Summernats. He actually went to the drags first, and he's like, because Victor Bray is a big drag racer in Australia here, and Dad looked up to Victor and was like, yeah, I want to be like Victor one day. And he went to the drags, did one pass, and then he got knocked out of the qualifying, and then that was it. He had to go home. So that wasn't really what he wanted. He wanted to enjoy the car a bit more, and so he went the next year to Summernats, and he actually entered the Burnout comp, and he ended up winning it. So he was like, oh, this is cool. So next year he did up it a little bit more, won the next one, and then yeah, it just went from there. And he ended up winning 7 Burnout championships at Summernats, and then that's when they brought in the Burnout Masters, and that was like the best of Australia. And then, yeah, he won the first ever Mobile won Burnout King of the World, and that was massive, like crazy. A massive big gold trophy and stuff. And yeah, just went from there. And then when I grew up a bit older, he gifted me the car as when I turned 17, and I was old enough to then compete at Summernats, and I pretty much went straight into a wildcard shootout, which was they had just bought out that year when I turned 17, and I actually had gotten the top 3 from that wildcard shootout, which got me a chance into the Burnout Masters. So then I competed against 30 of the best Burnout Masters in Australia, and I got in the top 10 from the qualifier. So then I got in the top 10, and then I had come 5th. So a 5th in Australia when I was 17, the youngest person to ever come 5th, like when I was 17.
It was your first year when you started doing this.
That's right, it was, yeah. So it was just crazy. Like, I was so young against all these other guys that had been doing it for so long. And then it's, fast forward to now, and a year ago, I won, I bet all the best competitors in Australia and the world, because people had travelled from New Zealand, the US, and it's just crazy, like, to be the youngest Burnout Master in the world. It's it's definitely it's an achievement. So it's
and everyone's achieved this same car with the same car?
Yes, yeah, that car is the car that my dad had bought when he was 17. So it's done over probably, I wouldn't even want to guess how many burnouts.
Okay.
It's thousands and thousands.
How many tires this car has shared?
You'd need to know. I'd probably be as tall as Mount Everest.
Probably.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's in our blood, and yeah, me and my dad have been doing it for a fair while now, and he's sort of semi-retired. He does a lot of the work and maintenance on the cars. The car actually lives in New South Wales because it's just easier for him to do some stuff on it, and I just travel up New South Wales, and yeah, it's all good fun. So. But soon, hopefully, he'll get his car, the Mustang, back, and then I'll bring out my new burnout car.
Oh, okay.
That would be good fun. I can't wait. So, and then he'll have his baby back. So
can you leak something what you building?
Yeah, no, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's small.
Electric engine, Tesla Model 3, and you will spin the wheels.
Elon Musk is the major sponsor of it, so it should be good.
It should be good. No sound, like...
Yeah, that's it. Big massive subwoofers on the back that make some noise.
And some flames, like fake flames.
Yeah, it's good fun. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
Please tell me, what's the best event for burnouts in Australia?
Well, the pinnacle of burnouts would have to be Summernats. You would have been there. You would have seen how many people attend, and it's the main one that everyone tries to go and win the Burnout Masters and the Burnout Championships. The Burnout Championships is just as hard as the Burnout Masters because you're going up against over 100 entrants in the Burnout Championship, which then you have the Burnout Masters, which is a 35 shootout qualifier, but still then you have to win a competition throughout the year to get a golden ticket, they call it, to get into the Masters at Summernats. So if you don't do any good throughout the year, you don't get to go into the Masters. So it's like you have to wait all year to then compete at one competition to try and win the Burnout Masters. But yeah, Summernats is one of the biggest in, would you say, the world burnout competition wise. My parents run their own show, Gazanats. They've had one in Western Australia, Darwin, Northern Territory, South Australia, pretty much everywhere in Australia. Okay. So Gazanats, that's called. So after my dad Gary, those Gaza. So yeah, no, that's about it.
Okay, now you know, guys, where to go. almost done. I would like to ask a few questions for dummies like me who know nothing about burnouts, skids, power skids. Just explain me, like, what's the difference between burnout, power skid, skid?
But they say, like, Australian lingo, they say, is like a skid, burnout. A skid's like, he's gonna go do a skid down the road, and then you say burnout, and they say, I'm gonna go do a burnout down the court, or the burnout track. Like, it's just a different Aussie lingo. Skid, burnout, same thing. But power skids, that's more like, you're powering through a burnout skid, same thing. But there's an Aussie dictionary where it's like, we all have our own little dictionary of different funny.
Because as I understand, power skid, when you slam the accelerator to the end and trying to keep us
straight
as possible.
You don't want to lose it because it's once you get up a lot of speed, you're
because you're not gonna be able to do power skid with weak engine. You need really good engine.
Right. You want a lot of horsepower. The more horsepower, the easier. And if you have low horsepower, that's when it struggles. Especially the faster you get, the more it loses wheel spin because it's just wanting to grip up. More horsepower, you just got constant power, it just doesn't want to hook up. It just losing traction, and more power the better.
Burnout car have automatic gearbox or manual?
Depending, it's all up to you what you want, but you would prefer to have 2-speed power glide. That's all we've had. Dad's had that from my actual dad used to have a manual gearbox, but then at Summernats he put it in reverse and then slammed it down to do a burnout backwards, and it blew the gearbox, and it come through the floor. It wasn't good. So ever since then, 2-speed power glide. It's just you got first, second, and then even this Camaro here has a two-speed power glide. You can get all kinds of different power glides, but that's what we used. Never had any issues. Had a few little issues here and there with reverse. Blew up a trans in reverse, even with the automatic. But that's because if you're revving it too high in reverse, it doubles your RPM, because in reverse it's just spinning 10 times faster. Wow. So if you're revving 9,000 RPM, your gearbox is nearly revving to 20,000 RPM. So you want it to be, you have to be careful. But first, second, you just hit first, second, and that's it. You just keep going. But if you're having horsepower issues, you have to then go back to first, because then the revs go up, and then back to second. But we don't have that issue because we've got running 1,000 horsepower at the wheels, so there's no issues.
Because when I saw first time to doing this power skid, I was thinking, if you have manual gearbox, no chance you can go first, second, third, fifth, sixth.
There's a few burnout cars. There's my mate Nut Out. He owns a car from New Zealand. It's all manual, and it's hard because you're trying to clutch it and change it, and you're losing your tyre smoke, and you miss a gear. It's very hard. It's definitely a talent to do a burnout in a manual, but it's all good fun.
How many horsepower should have your car to make a decent Aussie skid?
It all depends, as long as you're out there having a good time, you could have 200, 400, you can make it work, especially with it raining, liquid horsepower, they call it. It's doesn't matter. You can go out there in a 200 horsepower car and still spin the wheels, but in the burnout scene, it's preferred to be around the 600, it hooks up. We're running 1,000, which is a lot, for burnouts, but it's good because there's less pressure on your drivetrain, because once you then break the traction, you just got that. It just spins nicely. But then when you didn't go into the 400 to 500, that's when you start then putting a bit more stress through your drivetrain. But we started off with a carbureted engine in the Mustang, which Dad had built back in 1995, very long time ago. So, but back then, people didn't have big engines like this one here. You just had little street engines. You could drive it to the shops every now and then, and grab some milk. But it's definitely the game in Australia with horsepower. It's stepped up a lot, especially if you're up trying to go for Burnout Masters and big power skid comps like my dad. His is over 1,000 horsepower in his XA. you would have seen that. I've seen on your video you guys posted that thing there. That goes over 450 meters in power skids, you know, and it's definitely the more horsepower, the easier. That's all it is.
Okay. It means no chance with my Toyota Avensis, no chance.
No, we could put some Macca's trays underneath the rear tyres and put the handbrake on and we can go do some dummies.
Let's do that. But I have 7 seats in there.
We could put all the crew in the back.
Easy. Can you share some tips with us how to do a skid?
For starters, it all comes down to what car you have.
Okay.
Just if you got enough horsepower, you just, depending if you're an auto or a manual, it depends. If we're going from a manual, obviously, you just want to clutch kick it and try and keep on the brake and just keep the wheel spinning. But obviously automatic, you just keep your foot on the brake and put your foot flat to the floor and hopefully she spins up. But with mine, it's just 2 speeds. So first, second, put your foot flat and just try not to get off the throttle. And it's like you want to keep your constant smoke up, your rev, your controlling of the throttle, because you don't want to be on and off it and then holding it flat, because then your limiter will be going on. There's a lot of judging criteria, especially in burnouts. Then you have to pop both tyres, so you get 10 points for popping both tyres. If you hit then you have DNF as well. So if you hit a wall at some comps, you get DNF, or you get deducted points. So if you get stuck and then you have to reverse, you get deducted 10 points on your final score. Or if you catch on fire. So a lot of people think, if you catch on fire, you get more points. But no, that's not right. You actually get taken off points. Because you want reliability with the car and show that you've put a lot of time and effort to get your car perfect and do the perfect burnout. Which, if you would see on Facebook or YouTube, my burnout from Summernats, that was like, they call it a textbook skid, where it's perfect. There was not one error. It's just, you could not fault it. It's like nearly 100 points, because we go out of 100 points. So it was like 90 something points, and that's very well. Even this year, the winner of this year's Summernats, he only got 80 something points. And it's just crazy how you can be judged on different points. But it's all the fun of it. And
because for me, I thought, if you put your tires on fire, it's more points.
It's not. You actually get deducted points, because see, when your tires catch on fire, your smoke goes away. So that means you lose smoke scores. So then it's like you get deducted for 2 things, because your smoke's gone away and you're on fire, so you're getting deducted for fire and loss of smoke. But you normally stop when you catch on fire, and then you get a DNF normally because you didn't finish your burnout. But a lot of people just love catching on fire. They just do it for the crowd, but it's very expensive. If you catch on fire, then I have to rewrap my quarters.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So how long the burnout should be?
There's different rules for different burnout comps. At Summernats and the Masters, you have to go over a minute. If you go under a minute, you're deducted 5 points every 4 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But one year, I went just under a minute and I got deducted 4 points and I come 3rd place. So that means that if I hadn't gone under a minute, I probably would have won it. But it's all and then we learnt that from that year. We came back the next year, we changed our diff gears, which then slow down the wheel speed, and then that lasts your tyres just over a minute. And the next year I went at just over a minute. It was like 1 minute and 5 seconds, and that's just from changing the diff gears. Then I didn't end up making the Masters that year. I actually touched the wall a little bit. So I actually had a little touch on the rear quarter. It popped my tyre and I slid and just touched it. It wasn't a massive crash. All I did was replace the rear little tail light lens, and went on to the next burnout comp. But then the year after that, I come back and I actually won the Burnout Masters that year, and I went 1 minute and 10 seconds. So it's very, very fine time, especially at Summernats. But at some other comps, you can go as long as you want until your tyres pop. That's fine. But there's different rules for different competitions.
I have seen a colored smoke. Do you prefer some colored tires?
Personally, I don't prefer the coloured smoke tyres because it's very dark out there. Because it's so thick and dark colours, you get lost. Like you can't, it feels like you're in like a dark cloud. But with the white smoke, it's not as bad, and it sort of disappears a bit easier. And it stains your wrap as well. So I actually ran some purple tyres, and it stained the wrap up the rear quarters, and it goes everywhere. It's really hard to clean. Like it's just like a purple gooey stuff. And it's just the dye that they put through the tyres. But I personally just stick with the retreaded tyre. That's just a retreaded tyre over a normal tyre, and that just gives it a bit more rubber, and it smokes a lot more than normal, say, white tyres. So yeah.
Did you have any like heavy crashes, some accidents?
I haven't myself. The only time was at Summernats that year when I just touched the wall, which my tyre had blown and I slid on the rim. So it's very slippery on the rims. So I just slid and I just touched it, and I was pretty disappointed the first time, and it was probably 4 years I'd been skidding. And but my dad he's had a few accidents here and there, just little ones, nothing serious. But there's been some pretty crazy accidents in burnouts. Some people have flipped their cars. Yes, crazy.
How many sets of tires I need to burn to be as good as you?
Mate, you only need one set of tyres. You get out there and have a shot. You need a rear wheel car. Rear wheel burnout car to be up there, especially with the best. But good luck in a front wheel drive car anyways.
Okay, I need to change my car.
Yeah, that's it. No.
My first car was BMW 325.
Yeah.
It was nice to spin the wheels, but tires was very expensive that days, like 12 years ago. Trying to save them.
No, it's definitely, just give it a shot, mate. That's all you can do. That's it. Yeah.
Well, one day we'll come back and we'll do some skid together.
Yeah, that's it. We'll take your shotgun at Summernats or something, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Jake, for a chat. It was very interesting. Please tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, just find us on Instagram. That's Myers_bros. Facebook. That's S1CKO. SICKO. We keep up to date, and we'll share all your stuff on there, and hopefully, we'll see you in the future and throw you in the car for a skid. Throw your missus in the back seat and we'll send it.
Send it.
That's it, mate. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, don't forget to check links in description below. This is it, guys. We almost finished. Only a small parts left to do. What do you think, Jake? Do you prefer vinyl wrapping or unwrapping?
Definitely wrapping. It's obviously easier to pull the wrap off depending on how long the vinyl's been on the car and what material
I can't feel my fingers. You can see
I've got no fingertips left. But it's fun. But it protects the paint, so it's good, for a customer and yourself. So
the light buffing is going to be shining again.
That's it. Yeah, brand new again.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Jake.
No worries, mate.
And I will see you when I see you.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys. See you next video.